From the sandy shores of secluded beaches to the bustling streets of exotic cities, this special edition of Geographical Thinking Caps will put our contestants' geographical savvy on display. Get ready to pack your bags with knowledge and embark on a journey of discovery as we explore everything from hidden gems to famous landmarks and everything in between. Welcome back to Geographical Thinking. I'm Michelle Brake, and I'll be your guide as we explore ideas, stories, and conversations through the lens of geography. This episode is a special edition of Geographical Thinking, called Geographical Thinking Caps. This is our version of a game show where our contestants flex their geospatial muscles to show us what they know about the world around them. The topic area for today's questions is vacations. Coming up on summer, we want to make sure we're all thinking about where to go, where to relax. Each section of questions will have a different focus area under the umbrella of vacations, and each question will be multiple choice. Now that we know the rules, let's meet our players for today. Our first competitor is Madison Mackey, the GIS guru with a passion for maps and community empowerment. As a technical solution specialist in the President's Office team at Esri Canada, Madison works on a wide array of projects, but has a personal passion for combating climate change. With boundless enthusiasm, she champions the idea that spatial data isn't just for experts, it's for everyone. Our second competitor today is Brandon Wheatley, the geospatial wizard with a passion for analysis. His customer-focused approach has forged strong connections with clients from every corner of the commercial and governmental landscape. You might recognize him from Esri Canada's seminars, webinars, and GeoSnaps, where he's always ready to drop some GIS knowledge with a side of humor. To get us started, players, let's discuss some recent vacations you took, or maybe an upcoming vacation that you're looking forward to. Brandon, Maddie, welcome.
Hi, thanks, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle, thanks for having us here today.
Yeah, much appreciated to throw down the gauntlet and challenge you live on air. What are some of your favorite vacations that you've either recently taken or are upcoming?
Well, I'm excited. I am going on a bit of a vacation to Spain coming up next month. So I'll be going for 10 days. It's one of the longer vacations I've taken in a while. I'm normally a weekend trip kind of girl, but
Gotcha. Okay, so switching up the weekend warrior lifestyle, getting in some backpacking maybe, or maybe not quite a backpack, maybe a regular suitcase, a roller bag.
more of a city vacation than a hiking vacation, I'd say.
Gotcha. Okay. Brandon, what about you? Anything recent that you've done for vacationing?
Yeah, great timing. I actually just got back last week. I was down in sunny Arizona for a little guy's golf trip, which was fantastic. And as happy as I am to be here with you guys today, I'll be honest, small part of me wishes I was still golfing down in Arizona.
That's fair. Switching up that last bit of winter, spring-ish mixed weather would probably be something I would enjoy as well. Switching it up, getting some sun in there.
Did you win, Brandon?
It's funny you ask. I did actually win. Yes.
Ooh, okay. Well, is that
Okay.
a 1-for-1 situation? So you won that one. Does Maddie then win today? We'll
No,
see.
I feel like I'm on a roll here. I feel like I need to keep it going. Yeah.
Okay, well, with that in mind, since the only way to begin is by beginning, it's time to move on to some questions. We'll start with the easy stuff, though. Locations of Esri conferences. Brandon, we're going to get serious now. We're final getting into it. In what city does Esri user conference take place every year? Is it San Diego, San Francisco, or San Juan?
That would be San Diego.
Is that your final answer, Brandon?
That is my final answer.
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. Every year we do see the Esri User Conference taking place in San Diego. Maddie, in what city does the Esri Developer Summit take place? Palm Beach, Palm Springs, or Palm Royale?
Ooh, I have yet to go to a developer conference, but it is Palm Springs.
That is correct. Great job. We know we're thinking about where can we go and get away from maybe our snowy landscape at times. Brandon, back to you. In what city does the Esri Geo Design Summit take place? Redlands, Riverside, or Redwood City?
Ooh, I've also never been to this, but I'm going to go with my gut here and say Redlands.
You are correct. The Esri Geodesign Summit takes place in Redlands, California at the Esri campus. Beautiful campus. If you've never had a chance, it is a great one to check out and see everything that's there and maybe pop in and see a product manager and get some feedback or give some feedback on a specific product. Okay, Maddie, we're back over to you. In what city does the Esri Federal GIS Conference take place? New York, Boston, or Washington?
So this one I have been to, and it takes place in Washington.
That is correct. See, child's play. Some easy points to get us started. We're 2 apiece. How are we feeling so far?
Feeling good, feeling confident.
Probably too confident.
Well, hey, that's okay, because now we're going to stretch our legs by stepping a little further away from what you definitely know to what you probably know. This round is all about popular places to visit. Maddie, we're going to start with you on this round.
Okay.
Voted by Condé Nast Travel readers, what Canadian city was voted as the best small city in the world? Trois-Rivières, Quebec, Moncton, New Brunswick, or Victoria, BC?
Oh, that is a great question. I have not visited any of these cities, unfortunately. But now that you list them off, I'm going to have to go. But I have a really soft spot for the East Coast, and the people there are all so lovely and so welcoming. I have to go with Moncton.
Unfortunately, Maddie, that is not correct.
Shoot.
But Brandon, you've got a chance to steal. We have Trois-Rivières, Moncton, Victoria. If you listen to what Maddie said, you know one of those is wrong. Which one is right?
I did ask for a Monty Hall situation, didn't I? So
You did.
Almost getting it. For the coin flip, I will go with Victoria, BC.
That is correct, Brandon. Good job for the steal. Don't worry, Maddie. I think you might have a chance in the future to maybe steal one back from Brandon.
Okay.
Brandon, you're getting another of the Condé Nast Traveler readers, best voted. What Canadian city was named the 8th best big city in the world? Vancouver, Ottawa, or Calgary?
That was 8th best, you said?
8th best big city.
Based on 8th, I'll go with Calgary. I feel like Vancouver's a little too high up on that list.
Oh, unfortunately, Brandon, that is not correct. Maddie, that chance to steal has come up so quick. Do we think the 8th best big city in the world is Vancouver, Ottawa, or Calgary?
I'm going to have to switch over to the West Coast this time and say Vancouver.
That is correct. Brandon, you're thinking there. I think the context of world might have gotten missed in the question, but that's okay. We're still at now 3 apiece. We're tied up again. So Maddie, we're back over to you. In 2023, what was the most visited national park in Canada? Jasper, Banff, or Pacific Rim?
Great question, Michelle. I'm going to have to go with Canada's most popular park and say Banff. It's beautiful.
That is correct. Banff got over 4 million visitors last year. Wow. Jasper coming in at just under 2.5 million. Pacific Rim coming just over 1.1 million. Mm-hmm. So good call there. But Brandon, it's your turn. In 2023, what was the most visited national park in the U.S.? Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Acadia National Park, or the Grand Canyon National Park?
All instincts make me want to say Grand Canyon. It feels too obvious. So I'm going to have to go with my gut, and I'll go Grand Canyon.
Brandon, I am so sorry. This is a red herring. It is not the Grand Canyon. Maddie,
wow.
For a chance to steal, what was the most visited national park in the U.S. last year? Great Smoky Mountains, Acadia National Park, or Grand Canyon?
That is a great question. Okay, I guess, it is a coin flip, 50-50. Let's go for Smoky Mountain.
It is correct. The Great Smoky Mountain National Park is the most visited. It got over 13 million visitors
Wow.
last year alone. Grand Canyon coming at 4.7 million, Acadia coming in at 3.8 million. It can be a little surprising. I know I personally had a chance to live in Tennessee and visit it. And I think because it's so well situated between Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia nearby, you're easy to get to it. So I understand the thinking. On to our next question, though. Maddie, I know you just stole it, but it's your turn again. In 2023, what was the most visited city for international travelers? London, Hong Kong, or Istanbul?
The most visited city for international travelers. Let's go with Hong Kong.
That is incorrect, Maddie. I'm so sorry. But Brandon, a chance for the steal. Most visited city for international travelers last year. Was it London, Hong Kong, or Istanbul?
Feels like another obvious answer to a degree, but I'm going to go with London.
That is unfortunately incorrect, Brandon. This is one where we don't have a correct answer from our respondents. But Istanbul, Turkey, surprisingly taking the top place, got 20.2 million visitors from international destinations last year. London came in with 18.8 million, and Hong Kong with 14.7. They're all really up there, though.
Right.
Yeah, I don't feel like we're too far off.
No.
Michelle, does that mean you get the point?
I don't think so. I think I'm just playing along at home. I wrote the questions. I don't think it's fair for the point. But I do appreciate the giving me a point, Maddie. Thank you.
Great question.
Brandon, 2023. What was the most Googled country to visit? Greece, Morocco, or Thailand?
Ooh, all three destinations I would love to go to. But I will go with Greece.
That is correct, Brandon. Great job. Great job. We like to see that one not as hard. Now that we've gotten our feet wet and have started thinking around the globe, it's time for us to challenge your knowledge of popular tourist attractions. So for this round, I want you to name the 7 wonders of the world with an included honorary 8th. I'll accept. The question is, how many of them can you name for this round? We'll go back and forth with each of you getting a point for each wonder you can name. If someone runs out of answers, but the other person can continue, then that person will continue to earn points. So this is a chance to really get up there. Where we started with Maddie in the last round, we'll start with Brandon in this round. Brandon, what is one of the wonders of the world?
Is it the Great Wall of China?
That is correct, Brandon. That's the first one. Maddie, it's over to you.
The Grand Canyon?
It is not, Maddie. I'm sorry. The Grand
should
Canyon
be.
is not
gosh,
one of the wonders of the world.
Could have sworn it was. Okay.
Brandon.
I'm with you on that one, Maddie. I would have counted that. The Great Pyramids of Egypt?
That is an honorary 8th, but I'll give it to you.
Tell me there's 6 greater ones than that?
There are 6 greater ones.
My turn?
Yep.
Okay. Is it the statue in Sao Paulo, Brazil?
Yes. Can you think of, if you get part of it, I'll give it to you.
The name of it? See, that's, I don't think I know that.
Who is the statue?
It's Jesus, no?
What's the second part of that?
I don't know. I'm sorry. This is a tough question for me.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'll give it to you anyway. It's Christ the Redeemer.
See, no, would
It
not
was
have
a tough
gotten
one.
that.
I
Okay.
wouldn't have got that either, Maddie.
Yeah.
I was hoping that like maybe the second part of Christ was right there. Brandon, we're back over to you.
I don't know if I even know any of the other ones. I mean, I think they're wonderful. Are the Great Lakes on there?
They are not.
Oh.
No,
They should be.
They should be.
they are not the ones.
Not even Niagara Falls?
Not even Niagara Falls.
Wow.
Maddie, we're back over to you.
Okay. What about Machu Picchu?
That is one, Maddie. Great job.
Yes.
You got it. Okay, so we've got 4 out of 8 at this point of our 7/8 honorary wonders of the world. Brandon, back over to you.
Maddie, how many more of these do you know?
0. This is where we get
Okay.
humble.
There are 4.
So
I
we're
believe
rowing
in
in
you.
the same boat now.
Yeah.
I have no idea. The Galapagos Islands?
No, the Galapagos Islands are not it. Okay, Maddie, we'll come to you for one last time, and then we'll wrap it up, and I'll give you the other 4. Maddie, any last thoughts? What could the other 4 be?
I mean, perhaps Everest.
It is not. So,
I was also thinking
context.
Everest.
The wonders of the world are referring to mostly man-made structures. Nothing natural.
That's
Wonders
the
of the world. I think
distinction.
that's where we got thrown off.
Gotcha.
So the 4 that we were missing are Petra in Jordan, the Colosseum in Italy, the Taj Mahal in India, and Chichen Itza in Mexico.
Gotcha.
All right, I don't feel so bad now.
Right, you guys did great. Personally, Chichen Itza is the one that I always forget the name of, and I have to go back and really look for it.
I guess we're more physical geographers, Brandon.
Right. Sorry.
It's fair. If we were doing natural wonders, you'd be right there. Okay. We're going to kick it up a notch. Again, we're going to test your knowledge of big and small things. In this set of questions, your job is just to tell me which is the biggest or the smallest. Brandon, which of these countries is the smallest in area? Tuvalu, Vatican City, or Monaco?
Oh, this one I definitely know just through other random trivia. If it's not Vatican City, I feel like I've been lied to.
It is Vatican City. Vatican City is just under 0.5 kilometer squared.
Wow.
You're good. Maddie, we're over to you. Which of these Caribbean countries is the largest in area and also happens to be a pretty popular destination for Canadians to visit in winter? Cuba, Jamaica, or Trinidad?
I'm gonna go Jamaica.
That is incorrect, Maddie. Brandon, your chance to steal. Cuba, Jamaica, or Trinidad?
And the question was, which of the 3 is largest?
Yes, in area.
That's going to be Cuba, I believe.
That is correct. Cuba is 105,000 kilometers squared. Jamaica's only just under 11,000 kilometers squared. Okay, Brandon.
Ready.
Which of these Canadian national parks is the largest in area? Jasper, Wapusk, or Wood Buffalo?
Ooh, I remember this one from my cartography map making days because it spanned so many pages of those paper maps. I believe this is Wood Buffalo.
It is. Great job, Brandon. Maddie, we're over to you for our last big or small. Which of these Canadian national parks is the smallest in area? Sable Island, out here in Nova Scotia,
Of course.
Georgian Bay, near you in Toronto, or the Gulf Islands out in near Victoria?
I'm going to go for Sable Island.
Unfortunately, that's incorrect, Matt. I know I'm really throwing you off with some East Coast ones here.
That's okay.
Sable Island is 34 kilometers squared. But, Brandon, your chance to steal. Is it Sable Island, Georgian Bay Islands, or Gulf Islands?
I'll go with the Georgian Bay Islands.
That is correct, Brandon. It is coming in at 14 kilometers squared. A nice, weekend visit. Okay.
Maddie's kind of vacation, kind of.
Right? Kind of.
Yeah.
Staycation almost. You can drive up there, visit for an afternoon or a day trip, come back.
Sign me up.
So it's time for us to take our adventures a bit more rustic and even historical by taking a look at some of the activities people do while on vacation. Maddie. Rock climbing and mountaineering have seen significant growth in the past 20 years, but more of an explosion in the last 5. But with that comes the need to balance human impacts on geologically significant areas with close monitoring of permits. With that in mind, which of these mountains had the least amount of people summit them last year? Mount Everest or Denali?
Wow. I don't know much about these mountains. I'm going to go for Denali. I feel like Everest has a big tourist push, but Michelle's making a face at me. Oh no.
You can't see my face at home, listeners, but I did make a face. I was really hoping because you brought up Everest earlier on. So to summit Everest last year, there were 600 people total, 250 clients, 350 Sherpas. For Denali, it was just over 1,000 people. But a great guess. And it's one of those where so many people go to base camp, but how many people summit? And I think that's where it can get mixed up.
A tricky question.
Mm-hmm. I would have assumed both of those numbers to be a little higher.
Right. To be fair, I was surprised as well. So we're surprised all around. Next up, Brandon. Inspired by our recent episode with a niece who visited Antarctica, we have a question about visitation to Antarctica. In the 2022-2023 season, which visitation mode had the greatest number of visitors? Cruise-only visitation, landed visits, or deep field visits?
And this is to Antarctica?
Yep. Did people just stay on their boat? Did people touch onto the continent? Or did they go further into the continent?
I'm going to go for what I think is the least obvious of the three and just touch land.
You are correct, Brandon. They did touch land. Wow. So, and this is one that did surprise me as well. And for those of you who have listened to our previous episode, both Anise and I were surprised. So cruise-only visitors, just over 32,000. Deep field visitors, 821. Landed visits, so touched the continent but didn't go too far in, 71,000 people.
Wow.
It's a lot. That's what I thought too.
Far more than I would have expected.
Okay, Maddie.
Just sitting at home.
Okay.
So I know we talked about backpacking and how a backpacking through a forest maybe wasn't your thing, but let's talk about backpacking through Europe. And it's not a modern phenomenon. Instead, backpacking through Europe does stem from the tradition in the 17th to 19th century when upper-class men in their late teens to early 20s would world travel around Europe by rail to experience art, history, literature. This was commonly referred to as a grand tour. Which country was normally a staple of grand tours? Germany, Spain, or Italy?
I am going to go for Italy. I know there were a lot of artists in Italy back then.
That is correct, Maddie. Great job. Italy was the heart of the Renaissance for art, history, literature at that time, so it would include multiple cities whenever anybody would visit. Brandon, we're going to take us back out into the wilderness. Through hiking long-distance trails has become an increasingly popular activity, seeing significant growth over the last 10 years. Two popular trails are the Pacific Crest Trail, which starts in Mexico and ends in Canada, and the Appalachian Trail, that starts in Georgia and ends in Maine. Which one had the most reported hikers finish to date? The Pacific Crest Trail or the Appalachian Trail?
Fantastic question. Kudos to any of the individuals who have actually accomplished that. So thanks for making this question possible. But purely based on central geography and more people living in the Appalachian area, likely than on the West Coast, I'm going to go with the Appalachian Trail.
That is correct. So the Appalachian Trail has had more than 20,000 people finish to date, as recorded by the Appalachian Trail Society, and the Pacific Crest Trail, as recorded by their association, has had over 10,000 people finish to date.
Incredible.
It's wild. Both of them are over 2,000 miles. A lot of people are starting their trip now around March, April, and finishing into the early fall. Definitely a great feat. Okay, moving us back, maybe into some more comfortable areas. We have something to make sure there's something for everyone. This set of questions is a hodgepodge of niche stops or things you might want to do to make everyone happy on your vacation. Maddie, what city has been declared the most sustainable travel destination in the world? Copenhagen, Galway, or Melbourne?
Great question, Michelle. I actually visited Copenhagen earlier this year, and they have some really, really cool infrastructure and architecture that makes them a very sustainable city. So I have to vote Copenhagen.
That is correct. I didn't know that you had been there this year, so you had some insider knowledge. Good call.
Maybe a little.
Just a bit. Okay, Brandon. What city has been rated the best for vegans and vegetarians? Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, or Portland, Oregon?
Ooh. I was not expecting all three of these to be in the US. But based on what I have read on the internet and East or West Coast culture, I'm going to go with Portland.
That is correct, Brandon. Portland, Oregon, known for being a diverse city, open for vegetarians and vegans, and a lot of art collectives as well, surprisingly. Okay, back over to Maddie. What city has been rated the best for accessibility? Singapore, Amsterdam, or Tokyo?
Interesting.
I will say all three of them make lists for being accessible, but
Yeah.
only one of them is the top.
Well, I know that Amsterdam has a lot of biking and bike infrastructure, so ramps and things like that for bikes. But Singapore is quite small, so they might have a really high accessibility score as well. I'm gonna go on a limb and say Singapore.
That is incorrect, Maddie, but I like that thinking. Brandon, this is your last chance to steal because we only have one more question after this. What city has been rated the best for accessibility? Singapore, Amsterdam, or Tokyo?
So it is a great question. And I liked Maddie's line of thinking. See, I was going and leaning honestly more towards Japan, who I think is always kind of a little bit more forward when it comes to technology and in innovation. So I'm going to go and give them the nod here and see if I can get lucky with my last steal.
Tokyo. What is your final answer, Brandon?
Tokyo.
That is incorrect. The answer is Amsterdam. Maddie, you were right up there with that thinking of bike accessibility, meaning that there's more infrastructure surrounding ramps and getting around. Amsterdam has been voted the most accessible to date, but we always like to see what's coming up. Both Singapore and Tokyo were up there as well, for sure.
I tricked myself on that last one. I overthought it.
Right, it happens though. Brandon, last question. What city has been rated the best for visiting with kids? Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New York City, New York, or Denver, Colorado?
Great question. I don't understand what would put any of those three in the running. So this is going to be a wild guess. I've never been to Philly, but and I don't have any kids. But when I have some, I'll take them there. Final answer: Philadelphia.
That is incorrect, Brandon. I'm sorry. Maddie, last question, last chance to steal. What city is the best rated for visiting with kids? Philadelphia, New York City, or Denver?
Now, when I was a kid, I did go to New York City, and I've never been to Denver. So this is a tough one, but Denver has so much activity, so many mountains, hiking, skiing, and I know kids do love that. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Denver.
That is also incorrect. I like both of your ways of thinking, but the answer that we're looking for is New York City.
Interesting.
I know. I think a lot of it came down to, for the list and ranking it the highest, is that it's a walkable city, easily accessible via transport. The amount of green space and museums that are centrally located made it the top rated for things to do with children. But that was still a great guess. Okay. The final score is Brandon with 13 and Maddie with 10. Congratulations, Brandon, coming out on top. Anything you want to say to the people, your fans?
I just want to say thank you for believing in me. I know that you all out there were rooting for me. Apparently, I heard people really thought I was going to run away with it. But kudos to Maddie for making that as close and enjoyable as it was. I had a great time.
Awesome. Maddie, did you have fun?
I did have fun. Yes, absolutely. And, good job, Brendan. You really knew some of those questions and some of those answers. I'm a little, I'm a little disappointed in myself, but you deserve it.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the way the coin flips,
I think it came down to the steals in this case, so maybe swipe or no swiping for next time.
Just proves
With
the
that,
Monty Hall problem's real.
it does. You're correct, Brandon. So we hope you've enjoyed packing your bags with knowledge and embarking on this adventure of discovery with us. Remember, whether you're dreaming of palm trees swaying in the breeze or skyscrapers reaching for the stars, there's always more to explore and learn about our incredible world. If you're looking for more information about the technical side of GIS, check out the Spatial Report podcast, where Mark and Maggie, along with Brandon on occasion, dive into the latest and greatest in the world of GIS. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep thinking geographically.